So did you see the photo I posted today?
No, I don't think
Okay, so I posted a photo today of a store that I saw called Big D Shirts.
I did see that, yeah.
Okay. Well, that leads into the first story that I have today. So this story starts with Herpes Pizza, anyone? And it's a story about the best crudely named websites. So, sorry, not stores around the world. So someone took a photo outside Herpes Pizza.
I don't think I'm going to order that one, to be honest. The Herpes Pizza, probably leave that one behind.
There was another one called Come and Eat, and spelt with C-U-M.
Beautiful.
Then Poon Palace.
That's a good one.
My wife actually was seeing a doctor called Dr. Poon as well. Like legitimately, yeah, their doctor apparently was good. But yeah, they didn't work at the Palace of Poon.
I wonder if they have Poon specials.
There's another one called Kum Den. It's Kumden.
Yeah, that's up there. It's up there.
One of the comments mentioned that I have a dessert shop in my town called Blue Waffle.
I mean, it doesn't sound that bad, I guess.
Do you know what that is?
I feel like there might be another meaning I'm not hearing here, but
oh no, there was a viral picture that was rather disgusting back in the day.
Oh, okay.
I remember in high school going to one of the computer classes and someone had set background to that. Let's just say that it was a heavily infected lady's part.
I'm not Googling that.
Just set it as your own page.
Do you think I'm allowed to put that on my work computer? Is that?
Yeah. Of course, that's how you get a pay rise these days. Is to
hey Dave, what's your background picture? Yeah.
I mean, I doubt you'd even be able to go visit the website from a work computer. It would just be blocked.
Yeah. There's ways.
If you're interested enough, it's yeah.
Oh well.
Well, have you ever shit yourself after sex and had your in-law walk in?
Not in that order, no. So
in the opposite order, they walked in, then you shit yourself, then had sex.
Straight away. Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the family.
So glad to be a part of it all.
Well, this story starts with I pooed myself after sex, then lover's parents and dog returned home.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Yeah, so one time I was with this girl and we were at her place and it was the middle of winter and she had all of the windows open. Now, that's a very weird thing. Absolutely freezing in there, and I guess that's just the way she liked it. But we're in the living room, and I was sitting on the couch. She was on top, and we were messing around. My testicles were so far up my body that it looked like I didn't have any anymore. My other piece just didn't want to work because it was freezing cold. She was having a great time, and I was shivering uncontrollably the whole time. Now, there's way too much detail on the coldness here of a story. Like, if you're going to tell a story about your in-laws walking in on you after shitting, we don't really care about what the weather was and And maybe if you're going to tell us what the weather was, you can just say it was 5 degrees and then we move on. You don't need to go into it anyway. So when we finally end up getting something going, we start doing the deed. And when I finish, I fart. Now, to me, I feel like if you're going into this much detail about all this stuff, kind of using euphemisms like doing the deed. Like if you're going to talk about shitting yourself in front of your in-laws, like you don't need to be sensitive about the fact that you're having sex.
Maybe that's not what they meant. Maybe doing the deed was like they were writing up a deed.
Signed a legal document.
We finally wrote up the document.
My testicles were shivering, and we finally signed up on our agreement. He then says, and I quickly realized that it was not just a fart. More stuff came.
It's like half an hour later. Oh, I shit myself half an hour ago. Thought it was just a fart. You would quickly realize.
2 days later, you're like, oh crap, I shit myself.
Why has there been a funny smell?
It's so cold and the windows are open, yet I can still smell it. Oh well, I won't check it for another couple days. So now I'm sitting there freaking out, wondering what I'm supposed to do because there is a little pile of shit underneath me on their couch. Find a blanket and pull it over me because I was freezing cold and I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to get out of this situation. So as I'm sitting there, the front door opens. And I guess the thing is, like, wouldn't she have noticed or whatever?
I feel like, yeah, she would.
Also, I feel like if you're going to fart during sex, that would normally just be enough to disgust. Like it's like normally the person would notice.
I think they're gonna notice. Yeah, I don't think you're getting away.
Amazing how many holes there are in some of these stories.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them are like, this didn't happen.
Well, then her parents and her dog walked through the door. She comes out of the bathroom and goes, "Oh, I didn't know you guys were going to be here so soon." Then they look at me sitting on the couch and go, "Oh, hi, who are you?" So now her and her parents and their dog are just standing in the room while my dick is out and on their couch, and I'm sitting in a pile of shit.
I feel like this is one of those, those like dreams people have where like they're standing naked in school or something.
Fantasy.
Like this is this guy's worst fucking dream.
Fantasy.
Yeah, well, it could be that, but it's never happened. It's just like all in his dream. It's like, this is what's gonna happen. Sitting in my little.
Imagine this was his fantasy, and he like had to ask his partner to set this whole thing up.
I think it's interesting. He's still justifying. It was so cold. That's why my penis was small. It wasn't just because it was cold. Yeah, it was nothing to do with like the story. Yeah. In hot weather, it's fucking huge, but just because it was cold, it was like smaller. So, also, and then I shit myself because of the cold. Come on, man. It's not why you shit yourself. So
he says, what I tried to do is take the blanket to try to scoot it under my butt and tried to scoop the little poop out. As I'm doing that, I'm trying to slowly stand up and do it so that it's like easier. All of a sudden, the dog comes over and starts sniffing around, finds a little shit stain on the couch and starts sniffing and tries to lick the shit off the couch. They figured it out. They saw my dick was out. They saw that there was shit on the couch. I left, never saw them again. Again.
Yeah. I'm not buying this one, to be honest. Like, they saw what was happening, so I left. Like, yeah, they'd be totally fine with you shitting on their couch, fucking their daughter, and just being like, get out of here.
And we have all this information about the weather, but not a single information about like how he left or what happened with him when he left. Where were his clothes? How did he get home?
Yeah, this is an amateur effort. This dude needs to get better with his story writing details, because this is his fantasy. It's his fantasy gone wrong, and in how he's told it. But anyway, he's got some interesting details in there. So.
Yeah, well, speaking of fantasies, how many times should you have sex before you go into a courtroom? In the court, I mean.
Probably only like 3 times, I think. So it's an arbitrary.
Have you read this story?
No.
Well, a CCTV catches couple having sex in court 3 times before woman goes in front of judge.
Nice.
The pair from Queensland pleaded guilty after being caught out having sexual intercourse. So they did it in the courtroom foyer and have been sentenced to 60 hours community service each.
It's not bad.
So the woman was in the court for an unrelated matter. I don't know how it would be related. Like, how could they have been there already and then? Yeah. Anyway.
Well, Judge, we were demonstrating what we were arrested for. This is why it was so loud.
We were practicing for our court explanation.
I'd like to enter Exhibit B. This is going to take about 20 minutes, so if you could just
it's
pay attention.
Cold. It's very cold in this courtroom, so you're going to have to forgive me. It was a lot colder on the night, but not as cold as this, but I tell you, it's still cold. Your Honor, it is cold. I need you to note this.
The extreme cold. She's enjoying herself, but I'm very cold.
Now, I've shit myself. They walked in, and they're suing me to replace the couch. And
but I feel like their dog cleaned it up, so it's fine. So
yeah. And I never saw them again.
Until just now.
So they were kissing vigorously, and then they began to have sexual intercourse. And she lifted her skirt, sitting on her partner and moving up and down in the courtroom foyer.
It all started just trying to heat themselves up. It was just too damn cold. Just trying to transfer some body heat. And then it went too far.
Sometimes, like, literally court, so you gotta, give yourself some stress relievers.
Yeah. Just trying to calm my anxiety, Judge.
So the security officer left the area after approaching them, and he was like covering up his groin. And then, so after the security left, the guy then exposed his penis again and then adjusted his penis under her skirt. She then sat on his lap, facing away, and again started moving up and down.
Good. It seems like they were trying to be discreet about it.
Yeah, they tried their best. A volunteer court staff member then interrupted them, but they continued for a third time once the individual had left the area.
I mean, that's fine. That's, they were by themselves. So really, this is about the perverts looking on the camera. So
she did try to block the security from seeing him while with her hands, though, while he tried to attempt to cover himself up.
All right. So.
Now, the ironic thing is that they were then issued with notices to appear by police to court, meaning they had to go back to the court again. And so if they had separate court dates, does that mean they have 2 more times of doing it?
Could be, yeah.
Now, their solicitor did say that the actions weren't planned and that they weren't thinking of how inappropriate it was.
Too right. Yeah, I don't know. What about going to court makes you feel, you know what we should do before we go into court here? Unless they thought they were going to be thrown in prison. They're like, this is our last chance. But I don't know. I don't know if that's how it works. So, yeah, I don't know. But no matter who approached them, they were not being stopped. So there you go. Fair play to them.
Yeah. I mean, you got to make the most of it. You only live once, so.
Well, 14 times in my religion, but that's okay.
One of those times you're just going to have to get arrested for having sex in a
Yeah, again, I suppose, but all right. Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing that's happened there. But yeah, I don't know. I think I would have trouble convincing the other party. Hey, we should do. We're in court and everything, but kind of really turned on right now.
And what if you try to get your the person suing you into that and get them in trouble?
Hey, I know you're suing me, but you look really fucking good right now.
I just can't help myself.
Don't forget, though, it's super cold, so don't have big expectations.
Now I'm going to have to explain for half an hour about how cold it is.
Yeah. What cold does to the male body is called shrinkage. You just wait till summer. I'm telling you, it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a postman has been fired after he kept mail at home to deliver on his day off. And he won an unfair dismissal case.
I mean, it sounds like he was voluntarily doing work on his day off. So it's like...
Yeah, a Royal Mail postman who was sacked for taking home over 100 parcels delivered on his day off has won an unfair dismissal case.
Wow, it's not like he didn't get to deliver 1 or 2. He was like 100 packages. There's a shitload of stuff he's going to do on his day off.
To be exact.
Fucking hell. That's a full day's work right there. He's taking an extra day not getting paid for it. That's bullshit. They should pay him more money. So
what a hero.
Unless he took them home to open them and see what people were getting first.
Well, I mean, what if you worked at McDonald's and decided to do this? I'm going to serve 100 meals tomorrow. Thanks for your order. I'm just going to serve you tomorrow.
I mean, it's probably not acceptable in McDonald's, but it just seems like this dude took a shitload of work home with him from the people were probably waiting for their parcel, but they just waited an extra day. That's all. Their Big Macs would be soggy and fucking crap anyway. But yeah, I feel like if it was as long as he's not opening them, because they use discreet packaging for certain things, and that's that's important. You don't want your postman knowing.
But the thing is, you're expecting your postman during the week. If he comes on the weekend and it's very cold outside and the windows are open, He's going to see some things and you're going to have to explain
he's
for half an hour about how cold it is.
He's going to get an education. That's what he's going to get. So it's, yeah, it's and it's an interesting one. But he won. You say he won the unfair dismissal?
Yeah. So he was feeling sick, and so he opted to deliver the remaining 131 parcels on his day off. He failed to contact his line manager as required to inform them of the situation. 2 days later, a fellow colleague saw him posting the missed mail in out-of-work hours. He was then suspended due to a pending investigation for alleged willful delay and breaching security standards.
So some prick he worked with basically ratted him out for working on his day off. And that dude needs to be fired just for being a prick.
Well, I mean, there is the whole issue of taking the packages home, and
yeah, that's a whole other thing. That's a thing. I mean, that can be dealt with, but ratting out your fellow worker person is a shitty thing to do as well. So unless they're the people, you know, who are the doing something bad to other people, but like this dude's doing something bad to himself. He's giving himself extra work to do. So he's like, give me a break, man. What are you telling him? So yeah, I feel like that guy can't be trusted and needs a punch in the face. But the dude he's not stealing the packages unless maybe he kept a couple for himself, like a couple of the good ones, the used panties and stuff. Aside from that, he's delivering everything. He's still doing his job.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess you've made the case. So,
you know, I just feel I don't want my postman to open my post. So I'm behind all the postmen. Just, you know, please keep bringing my stuff. I don't care when you bring it. Don't open it, please. Don't open it. Yeah.
Yeah, those used panties, they can't be resealed.
They're getting more expensive now. So
inflation has deeply affected the used panty market.
It is. Wow, it's like
all right, well, this story hits close to home for me, and I want you to guess why. So I'm going to give you the the title. Naked couple filmed having rooftop sex during record heatwave.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
So this story hits close to home for me. And the title, and I want you to guess why. Now the title is Naked Couple Filmed Having Rooftop Sex During Record Heatwave.
Well, there's two things here. One, I know you were in a couple, but put that to a side for a moment. I know you like filming stuff. So putting two and two together,
you would get the wrong answer.
I think what it is that you were interested in heat waves, naked couples, and filming stuff. Those are your top three interests. So
no.
Oh, okay.
None of those are the actual thing.
They should be.
I used to work in the office opposite this and could have filmed this had things been different. And I'd been there, but alas, no.
That's awesome.
But yeah, these two people in Birmingham had sex on the roof in 38 degrees.
I just feel like there's sunburnt buttocks whereas the result of this, and people are going to be staring at this video for a long time. That's a fun one. That's a fun way to spend your heat wave. You know, get on your rooftop, do some sex. There you go. accidentally get filmed.
Or deliberately get filmed.
I mean, more likely deliberately, I think. Because everyone knows these days, everyone's response to anything happening is to film it. So...
Well, especially when you do something on a rooftop in the middle of the day when several office buildings can see said rooftop. Therefore, there are literally thousands of people, all of which have phones, who could all film you pretty easily.
Yeah, I know.
Not to mention if anyone decided to park on the rooftop as well.
You'll never guess what happened when I parked my car today.
I can't believe it. This is supposed to be private, this public car park rooftop.
Then they got angry with me for staring and giving them directions. Don't do it like that. Do it like this. Wow.
Well, another question for you.
Sure.
How many days is it acceptable to wear the same clothes whilst on holiday?
I'm just gonna say one. So I feel.
Surely you can push it to two.
I mean, if you were in extreme circumstances, you might go two, but I feel like one should be the.
I did meet a guy in a hostel in Vietnam who claimed to have been wearing the same T-shirt for 30 days in a row.
All right. Well,
now I don't know if he washed it in between or what, but yeah. I assume he would.
I feel like you would at some point be like, I'm going to wash this. Shower with your clothes on, maybe. I don't know. Something's up.
Especially in the sweaty, humid heat.
Yeah.
And the rain.
Yeah, definitely in that kind of weather where, like, you're just standing still and you're sweating your balls off. It's like, you need to change your clothes up, so.
Once a month. Well, a cruise passenger has been embarrassed over wearing sweatpants for 15-day trip of a lifetime after Air Canada failed to deliver her delayed baggage, according to this report.
So always blame Air Canada. They're always like, that's why I was wearing sweatpants.
Well, the thing is, if you have travel insurance, you actually want this to happen because after a certain amount of time, they have to cover a certain amount of spending on clothes. So you can just go buy. You can spend like $1,000 on clothes, and they have to cover it.
Yeah.
Depending on what your insurance says, but many of them say like $500, $1,000 if it's like 1 day or 2 days. In some cases, it's even 4 hours. So my dad knows someone who bought this really fancy travel insurance for the sole purpose of hoping that things like this happen. And theirs was 4 hours. And so they would wait until the exact minute that it hit 4 hours. And then they would go off and they'd buy $1,000 worth of clothes after 4 hours of not having their bags and say that they needed that specific amount.
Nice.
Which happened to be the exact amount that the thing covered.
I absolutely needed these Hugo Boss suits for my cruise. What's going on?
For my beach holiday, I needed. Unfortunately, Hermes was the only store open nearby, so I had to. So yeah, her baggage never arrived for a 15-day Scandinavian cruise, so she had to wear sweatpants the entire time.
I mean, yeah, I feel like they probably sold clothes on the cruise ships. They have stores and everything. I feel like you could have done something, but has that ever happened to you? Has your luggage ever got lost or delayed so long that you didn't? You had to go buy new clothes or whatever?
No, I've only ever had it happen for 1 day. Normally when they lose it, they can find it within a day and then deliver it. And then usually that's manageable. Like, it's not ideal, but like, yeah, like it happened to me in Russia and I didn't have deodorant, so I had to go buy deodorant. But like I had the clothes, like I had a day's worth of clothes because I happened to be wearing clothes, so I could wear those clothes. Yeah.
It was so unusual. I was actually wearing my clothes that day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Then another time they said they checked the bags through. Like it made no sense. I was flying on different airlines in unconnected flights, and they said that they checked the bags through. And I said, "Are you sure? Because this is not connected." And they're like, "Yeah." And then obviously I get to the end of the thing, and they're like, "Yeah, actually your bags are still in Singapore." It's like,
nice.
I said this and you didn't. Yeah. But anyway, so then but that time it actually helped me because I had to go pick up the bags in the airport, and then while I was there, I was talking to the baggage handling people while they had to go get the things. And then like a week later, I had another flight and I was over the baggage. But because the woman knew me, because we'd been talking that time, she just said, "Oh yeah, no, that's fine." And then so it ended up actually saving me money.
Not bad. Not bad. I had an incident once where because of a weather delay, I missed my connecting flight in Amsterdam, and they couldn't give me my bag. My bag had gone already to Toronto. So I was like, well, I'm in Amsterdam. My bag and stuff is in Toronto. What am I going to do in the meantime? They gave me a T-shirt. They're like, "You're going to stay in Amsterdam overnight." They sent us to a hotel, and they were like, "Here's a T-shirt and some toothpaste." That's literally what they gave us. Or it's like, what am I can't like. So it was a case of trying to wash what clothes we were wearing the next day
with toothpaste.
Well, but they also put us in this hotel that was like, it was literally in the middle of nowhere. I don't know how this hotel survived. It was just like, there was nothing for like 20 miles. It was ridiculous. So yeah, that was a weird experience wearing my see-through, pretty much white T-shirt that they gave me. That was at least one size too small as well. So everyone was getting a good show that day.
Maybe they did it deliberately. They're like, "Ooh, this is a hunk of man meat. We need to see
I was
some more
younger
of that."
back then. I had a head of hair at the time. So it's like, my swab at the airport.
That man's hair. Wow. He's doing some things to me.
Yeah. But that was an interesting experience. But in terms of that, I mean, I think I would have found a way to buy clothes if it went to day 2. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I lost a companion on this trip. Oh, no. So my friend who I was traveling with got COVID, and so had to stay in Vietnam. And so yeah.
Travel insurance cover that?
Well, kinda, not really, but it's a little bit complicated. Anyway, we won't go too into that because of those reasons, but yeah, I then had to figure out how to, like, we had baggage because of the way the bags were. He didn't bring much baggage, and so I was bringing stuff here with his. So then I had to get more baggage and shit, and even getting to the airport, like, whole dramas. And then this current trip where we're staying now is because we're meant to have an extra person. He couldn't extend in Vietnam because they won't extend visas because of COVID and whatever. And yeah. And I may be the person ever who wants to go to Papua New Guinea who currently doesn't appear to be able to, because somehow my wife got her visa approved 3 weeks ago, and mine didn't get approved. Well, it's just like sitting as undecided.
Maybe they watched the podcast.
Could be, yeah. All our PNG fans are complaining.
Wow. Yeah. And that, well,
I have 2 weeks now, and then I've emailed them. I've contacted their website. Still don't get responses.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't even know what I can actually do other than actually call Papua New Guinea, which I don't even know if I can.
Yep. That's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah. And the other thing is that travel insurance doesn't cover if you don't get the visa.
Oh, shit, yeah.
So I might actually be in a situation where I want to intentionally get COVID so that I can miss the flights.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it.
Which has made me think about like a movie idea of a movie about intentionally catching COVID.
That's an interesting idea. All the reasons you might want to eventually catch it. There you go.
Either that or monkeypox.
Yeah. That's the next one, pandemic part 2. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I would intentionally get the first one, although I believe there are easier methods. Well, maybe not easier. There are methods to go about getting the second one. So, you can guarantee.
Yeah, well, there's certain types of people that you can.
So I hear. So I read on the internet. So it got to be true.
Yeah. Well, that was a weird diversion from a relatively boring story in the end. But you've been known to flash people. So what's the worst thing that's happened to you while flashing?
It's all been positive from my point of view, except for that one time when it was really, really, really cold and I had to explain myself.
Imagine you're out flashing and you have to explain, look, I'm sorry, but it's so cold, so you have to give me some allowances here.
Use your imagination.
I may be a flasher, but I have dignity.
Aside from that, it's all been positive. But yeah, I feel like that's all. I feel like maybe there's been other people have had negative experiences, but you can tell me what happened. So
okay, well, this person, I guess you could say they had a negative experience. They say suspected flasher shot dead by naked pensioner for masturbating at a nudist beach.
Wait, how can you be a flasher on a nudist beach?
How can you not be a flasher on a nudist beach? Imagine going to a nudist beach fully clothed and then going like, hey!
And everyone being like, oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my God. Everyone else's penis is out. And it's not cold, the sun's shining, you idiot.
That's why we're on the beach. God damn it. Oh, wow.
Okay, and an alleged flasher was shot dead by an elderly nudist after he was caught pleasuring himself in front of a naked woman on a nudist resort in France.
Oh.
I mean, if you can't masturbate on a nudist beach, what is this world coming to?
That's exactly right. So, what else is the nudist beach for?
Who's bringing a rifle to a nudist beach?
Yeah, that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
The nudity is fine. The gun, that's inappropriate.
You've crossed the line, buddy. The unnamed 46-year-old was shot with a rifle at the Grand Craic de Mirabel on the naturist beach La Mama in the eastern area of Ain on Saturday morning. Hundreds of beach visitors witnessed the ordeal. How are there hundreds of people at nudist beaches to begin with?
Well, it's a good time for the whole family, so.
It's not very cold out, you know. These heat waves. You bring your rifle for a walk, you know. There's a shooting range right there.
I think people would have been more freaked out by the gun than the penises, to be honest. It would have been like, just, fuck, that guy's got his gun with him. I think we might leave the beach for the day. He's there to kill somebody.
So the exhibitionist had insulted and threatened beachgoers before masturbating in front of a woman. Upon arriving at his regular spot, the anonymous gunman and hunting enthusiast got into a heated argument with the flasher. I like to combine my love of hunting and nudity with nudist beach shooting.
He just woke up that morning. He's like, I think when I go to the nudist beach, there might be a hunting opportunity. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's one of the beach rules, you know, to clean up after yourself, you know, don't stare at naked women all the time, and don't shoot people. That's just...
Well, in America, you get a concealed weapon permit, right? Well, where are you supposed to conceal your rifle at a nudist beach?
Well, that is a good question.
It says after a few minutes, a 76-year-old took out his hunting rifle and fired 3 times, with at least one hitting the man's chest. Nearby police were on the scene in minutes and closed down the beach while they carried out their investigation. The gunman owns a firearm license that permits him to carry the gun in the shooting club environment. It does not allow him to carry it in public spaces. He is, however, unknown to officials. Witnesses on the beach said the man did not resist arrest, and the medical team evaluated whether the elderly man was able to be detained. And the police have launched an entire investigation.
I mean, you know, it's still a little bit over the top of a punishment to kill someone for masturbating. I think half the world would die if that was the case. So more than that. So I think he was obviously in the wrong. But yeah, why are you bringing your gun with you to the nudist beach? What were you expecting to happen? Unless he could like tell the future somehow.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny, the idea that he was a flasher on a nudist beach. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't even understand how that...
I'm going to go show my penis to a load of naked people.
Trying to see if there's like an update on it, but it doesn't appear to be. It's a 5,400 acre naturist spot.
Pretty cool. That's where I'm going on my next holidays. Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we found our next holiday.
just be careful. Just make sure we're sitting down the opposite end from the crazy person with the gun. You know.
Yeah, well, based on that, there's another place that's become very popular with tourists in recent times, where literally there were no tourists before, but in recent times there's been a few. That's been all over the news, but apparently you're not anymore.
I think I'm losing you, man. You're frozen there.
Place where scientists are banning. Take a guess.
Sorry, man. I lost you for like a minute there. A place where Scientists have what?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you now. Yeah.
Well, you're a band from masturbate. It's become quite popular in recent times.
France? Oh no, we just had France. So, just
No, you're allowed to masturbate on the Eiffel Tower. In fact,
you are.
Last time I went, they encouraged it.
Oh, I need to go back. I don't know, man. That actually, I've seen this. This is in space, or in the space station, maybe. Whatever. Yeah, I'm not sticking with that rule when I go there. So.
Well, I refuse to go until you can masturbate.
Yeah, it's like, can we clear something up here? What's the masturbation status on the space station? Is it something
I'm
like
10 grand on a holiday, 100 grand on a holiday? I can't masturbate on.
Isn't it like they said that it could impregnate women? It's like
3 of them. Yeah.
I mean, space is fucked up, but that'd be something. That'd be a story to tell the grandkids. So the reason
why I don't masturbate on nudist beaches either. The fear of impregnating 3 women is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's weird, you know, that's hasn't come up before because we've been in space for a long time. Like, I know not as tourists, but you think maybe they had an incident where astronauts were like getting pregnant. They're like, what the fuck's going on? And they figured it out after a 10-year investigation. They're like, oh, they're jerking off all day. That's because they got nothing to do. All right. Fair enough. So, yeah, good to know.
What happens if you're up there for like a month and you have a wet dream?
Then you 9 months later have a baby. So
or 3.
Yeah, just yeah, feel like they haven't thought this one through. There you go. When have they ever thought anything through? It does stink of something happened and they were like, oh, if regular people are up here, we better tell them.
You go on the Elon Musk thing in like 2 minutes and you're like, okay, I need a quick time to relieve myself.
I definitely think this didn't come out of like a brainstorming session, like around it. They're like, what's the things we need to tell them not to do? No, something happened. They were like, fuck. Jeff Bezos went to space. He must have been yanking his plank, and then the lady was like, I'm pregnant.
Surely one of those billionaires was like, I want to be the first to masturbate in space.
Yeah. And then babies.
I think it was Richard Branson like jumped the others, right? So maybe Jeff Bezos was like, if I can't be the first billionaire in space, I'm going to be the first billionaire to masturbate in space. And no one will beat me to it.
That was his goal. That was his goal. And it seems like he achieved it. See, we're just breaking all the cases on this podcast. We figure it all out.
Now, in other weird news, if you were, let's say that you ate a sandwich on Christmas in 2017 and you've been farting ever since, how much would you sue for?
I mean, it's 5 years, so multiply that by how many? You're in the tens of millions, you know, maybe 25, 30. Yeah, for sure.
Well, this guy we're back in Birmingham again, the classiest place on earth. This guy ate a sandwich whilst visiting a Christmas market in Birmingham with his family, and he's suing for £200,000 because he suffered severe cramps within hours of eating the sandwich and was left bedbound for 5 weeks, but then still has chronic flatulence 5 years on, causing embarrassment and fatigue. The noise of his stomach keeps him awake.
Interesting. How has he tied it back to this one sandwich? Like what was did he have it medically scientifically tested, or I don't know that, like, I've had sandwiches and then I've like farted. So can I sue for 200,000 as well?
That fart was from my sandwich 6 years ago. Well, no. He's saying that he's still farting every day because of it and can't sleep because his farts make so much noise.
I mean, yeah, still, one sandwich did this to him. Feel like maybe there was another issue. Maybe, I don't know. It's a weird one. But I mean, 200,000 for 5 years. That's 40 grand for each year. You should maybe up it a little bit. Let's go like for 100 grand per year then. I think you should increase it. So he should work out how many nights he hasn't slept well because of farting, and like put a monetary amount on each night. Then there you go.
Yeah. Well, I think finally we have a story that kind of crosses over to one of your other loves. So an American metalhead created an electric guitar out of his dead uncle's skeleton.
You don't get much more metal than that. It's pretty hardcore. Yeah.
So he goes by the alias of Prince Midnight, from Florida. And yeah, he used his uncle's bones to create his very own electric guitar.
So, yeah. So one of the things in the guitar space that people will say is, what wood is your guitar made of? Because that'll have an impact on the tones and the sounds you will get from it. How does bone affect it? That's what I wonder. Like, it's gonna be interesting. A bit of a rattle going from that one. But also, where did he get the bones from? Like, did he wait for him to his flesh to decompose, or did he like literally peel it off?
Yeah. Well, it does get a bit weirder because his uncle Philip requested his remains be donated to science before passing away in Greece in the 90s.
Okay.
After 20 years, he ended up in a cemetery my family had to pay rent on. Like, literally in a wooden box. It's a big problem in Greece because Orthodoxy religion doesn't want people cremated. So I got the box of bones from Greece and didn't know what to do at first. Bury them, cremate them, put them in the attic. All seemed like poor ways to memorialize someone who got me into heavy metal.
Isn't there must be some sort of legal thing here? Like having actual bones of a human being. I don't think in your attic or whatever, I don't think you're allowed to do that, or maybe I'm wrong, but and also what kind of science was he dedicated
his body to science?
Yeah. Leave my body to science is like, we'll just put you in a box in Greece, fuck it, it'll be fine. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, but also to be like, oh, I have a box of bones. I'm going to make something out of that. Not just something, I'm going to make a guitar, which is something that you handle quite a lot. Like you touch quite intimately at times. So I feel like it's a bit weird to come up with that idea. There you go. Jeez. Imagine doing a Pete Townsend on it and smashing it up on the stage after a song. Oh shit, that's Uncle Bob.
Or you do the old chucking the guitar in the air and
yeah, that's just fucking weird. I feel like I don't want to trade him for any of my guitars for that one. He can keep that one. So
I don't know. It's a top quality guitar. How many guitars do you have that made of 20-year-old dead bodies?
Last count, I had none of those ones. So yeah.
Also, the smell of it as well. Like, I'm sure old bones don't smell great.
Yeah, I think there's just so many. There's so many issues with this. The smell, the feel of it, the weirdness. You're not going to get
the fact that, like, if a dog walked in while you're playing and decided to lick the bones.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, if somebody who got me into music was to die, I don't think I would feel like honoring them would be making a guitar out of their bones. Yeah, I feel like that would be.
Well, see, that's what's holding your music career back.
It may well be.
If you're more committed.
I'm fine with not making a guitar out of bones, but I also feel like kind of like every time there's a murder, you would be the prime suspect. It doesn't matter if you knew the person, you were near the person. You'd just be like, it's probably that guy with the guitar made of bones. So. What
if the guy got you into porn or something? And it was like he was the guy who gave me his porn stash when I was a kid. So I decided to.
That's okay.
Memorialize him with dildo made out of his bones.
This is what he would have wanted.
I swear he would have wanted it.
Yeah, that's I mean, you never know what's going to come up on this show, but that's that's something to think about.
You know it's going to be wild. You don't know what it's going to be, but you know it's going to be wild.
This stuff doesn't come up on the news at 6 or whatever on the TV. This is the stuff that's too hot to handle for those guys.
Well, that's why they're boring as fuck.
They don't give you
listen to this.
Yeah. They don't give a proper opinion on things like, what do you think of this guitar made out of someone's uncle? So, shit like that, Damn, that's an interesting one. Today's stories revolved around the human body a lot more, and the flashing and the masturbating. But there you go.
Yeah,
good one. Still, if anybody out there knows,
see a weird thing.
Yeah. I want to know when Jeff Bezos is going to come out and tell us about his space masturbation baby, because clearly that's what happened.
And whether it feels better in space.
Yeah, there you go. Because that'd be good advertising for his business, like bringing people to space.
This is one small jizz for man, one giant leap. One giant cum load for my penis.
Maybe that's why his spaceship looked like a dick.
Imagine Neil Armstrong was like saying, "It's very cold up here." I'm telling you, it's very cold up here. It's important that everyone knows that it's freezing up here, and that is the reason why.
Everyone, please pay attention to this. It's really cold in space. Look at this picture I took of my dick. Yeah, well, there you go. Now we just get lots of hate mail for mentioning, astronauts in the 60s. Because, masturbation.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of news articles and people asking the question online, do astronauts jerk off in space?
Gone down a rabbit hole. You're not getting out of this one. It's funny, they never answer that on their live streams they do, where they answer people's questions. It's all like, oh no, water will cling to a surface. Look at this. And then, yeah, everything's weightless in space. Look at this. It's like, do you jerk off in space? Next question.
Well, I mean, that's if you believe that they went to space or that the moon is real.
That's a whole thing that we should get into sometime.
You know, there's no jerking off in space on the flat Earth, so.
It's true. Anyway, flat Earth is a fallacy anyway, because everyone knows the Earth is a triangle. So,
yes.
Not buying either.
And that is why there is.
Yeah. Anyway. That makes sense. We're going to be on like some debunking video somewhere. Someone's going to be like, these two fuckers said the Earth's a triangle.
And you can't masturbate in space. Here I am in space masturbating.
I'll prove you guys wrong. These are the videos humanity wants for their downtime. There you go.
So this link actually... This article about it actually links to a video on the hub of an astronaut in space doing it.
I wonder. Links you should not click. Links you should click. Which file does it go into?
Links you should set as your homepage for future reference. Is this a public computer? Yes, but I still want it to be my homepage.
Yeah, I feel like that's appropriate. It's all good.
Yeah, probably don't know that I can what is on certain websites whilst we're on the podcast. Probably not the safest. If the sound were to start playing, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, make sure it doesn't start playing sound, because that could be awkward.
Imagine so obviously before the podcast we were talking about weird stuff left in hotel rooms, as I've been documenting. Imagine you got to the International Space Station and you find an old pair of panties someone had left behind in the International Space Station, or a jizz rag.
Just an old crusty sock buried in somewhere. Oh no.
But what if two astronauts hit it off in space? And surely that's happened. I mean, they're up there alone. However many of them have been there.
Yeah,
is it even cheating if you're in space? Like, you're in space for a year.
Yeah.
Does it even count? I have not cheated on you on this planet.
On all my time on Earth, I have never, ever done that.
And I never would.
On Earth.
Now, the fact that I spent 5 years in space with the same guy and I've come back pregnant.
I bet somehow one of the space agencies has had this as an experiment. They've been like, guys, we need you to fuck just to see what happens. Yeah. And then,
if not, they're failing. Like, they do all these weird experiments, like setting spiders and other weird monkeys and whatever.
Yeah.
Why are monkeys not being sent into space to fuck so that we can find out scientific stuff about it?
I know. I think I think on the next space mission, Mia Khalifa needs to be sent with the sole purpose of learning more about how sex works in space. So NASA, if you're out there, get on it.
And it would be safer because we'd have happier astronauts.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be doing stuff.
And, you know, I think that's the way to solve most of the problems of space. Is
I mean, that's how we solve world peace: is to send monkeys into space. Fuck.
It could well be. You never know. So,
that is my scientific hypothesis, and
I concur with that.
One day I hope to finish my thesis on monkey sex in space leading to world peace.
I would read the shit out of that. So I look forward to it.
On that note, I've got to get to writing my thesis.
Sure.
And watching these videos of astronauts in space for my own leisure.
Mm-hmm. Just be careful when you go to the beach afterwards.
Not to stare or bring my gun.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. Well, it's been a good one.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your trip.